taping. A spin on this. Okay, there we go.
You go to the grocery store and what do you see? All you see is tons and tons of candy sitting out the counter. You see things like the Hershey's bar and the Kit Kat and the Reese's, and then you just start thinking, they look so delicious and yummy. Hershey's bars are a delicious chocolate candy, but they're from the crisp Hershey's bar to the Hershey's Kisses. But have you ever stopped to think, how does Hershey's make their chocolate taste so good? And then have you ever thought, how come I've never made it? Well, chocolate is a scrumptious snack that has some good and bad qualities to it. It's a food that has proven to make you happier when taken in moderation, but also has lots of sugar which can be harmful to your body when not. And even though it is a delightfully tasty treat, it is a product that's very tough to make. According to exploratorium.edu, accessed March 13th, chocolate is a difficult process and needs to be made a certain way that has not really changed much since the 1800s. Chocolate is a delicious treat, but has not been easily made at home either. But today I will show you the process of how to make chocolate. First I will share with you the differences in cacao beans, then I will tell you the ingredients it takes to make chocolate, and finally I will show you some of the tools needed for the process. To start off, there are three types of cacao beans, and according to George Murray, who wrote an article on April 18, 2006 at easyarticles.com, stated that these three beans are the Criollo, Forasteros, and the Trinitario. And according to allchocolate.com, accessed March 15th, there is no such thing as cocoa beans. Even though there is much belief that there is and that they are actually called cocoa beans, they are not. They are called cacao beans. They create cocoa powder and cocoa butter. But anyway, Criollo was the first cacao bean to be founded. This is used to make only the finest chocolate. And the next one is the Forasteros, which creates about 80% of the world's cacao beans. They aren't nearly as good tasting, but they create a lot more yields and they are much cheaper to make. And finally, the last one is the Trinitario. It is a hybrid bean. It's a mix between the Criollo and the Trinitario. It has qualities of both. It is tastier like the Criollo, but has a lot higher yields like the Trinitario, or like the Forasterios. And now I'll move on to the ingredients of making chocolate. Whoops. Of making chocolate. For a more desirable product, use these key ingredients. Use cacao beans, use cocoa butter, sugar, lecithin, and dry milk powder. That's if you want to make milk chocolate anyway. And as it's obvious to tell, cacao beans are the most important ingredient. In fact, it is, according to science.howstuffworks.com, last updated in January of 2012, you can make chocolate entirely from cacao beans, but it is very tasteless and very bitter and has a poor texture to it. And that's where the cocoa butter, sugar, and lecithin come in. Lecithin is a fatty substance, and the cocoa butter gives it a creamy and smooth flavor, and the sugar and lecithin give it a sugary and sweet taste. Now, let's finally take a look at the tools used and how to make the chocolate. It isn't an easy process and can cost you a big cut out of the bank just to get the proper tools. According to exploratorium.edu, accessed on March 13th, the first thing you need to do is roast the cacao beans. It can be done in an oven, but it's very tough to make them evenly cooked. It is much easier to use a drum that is created specifically for that use, but that can cost up to $100. Then you need to crack the nibs out of the cacao beans, which can take hours and hours and literally feel like it takes forever to do each one individually. But then they have created a certain product that cracks a bunch at a time, and it makes the process a lot easier. But that costs up to $200, and that can be $300 just for those two products. And we haven't even got to the most expensive item. Next is the Melanger. It is a lot like a blender, but much bigger. It grinds up the nibs, but it makes it much finer than a blender would, and it makes it into kind of a pasty type product. This can cost at the least amount $500, but can be as much as $1,000. So all the products to create chocolate, it costs almost $1,000, if not more. And the final process is that the chocolate needs to be tempered. This means that you melt it down to almost a liquid state, and then you order it into your molds, which the molds only cost a few dollars at the local dollar store. And then when it cools down, you have your own chocolate. And as you can tell, there are many expensive tools needed to create chocolate, but it is also a delicious and fun thing to do. I have now told you how to amaze your family and friends by making your own homemade chocolate. It's something a little weird and a bit different, but it can be a fun thing to do. So the next time you see a Hershey's bar at your grocery store counter, just pass and make it yourself.